Hi there, my name is Kai Vierda and I'm a product manager for CA Release Automation. In this second part, we're going to cover the execution payload and mapping of input parameters. And we'll also look at defining output parameters and error handling. Now let's move on to the actual execution payload. The request URI, this is where I specify the URL, and we can use the one from the API example. So let's copy this and paste it in the field here. And remember, we need to do a post request. Let's do that. And for body content, I have an option to provide key value pairs or provide the body content as a block of raw text. So let's take the block of JSON from the example here and paste that in. Now remember, this service key comes from the example and I need to replace it with the one associated to my PagerDuty account. So let's switch to PagerDuty, Services, and take this API key and paste that in. For authentication, I choose the no authentication option. Before we continue, let's try this API call and see if it works. As you can see, I'm prompted to provide values for the various input parameters I created. And since these two fields are set to required, even if I'm not using them, I will still provide a value, and just so that we can execute using the static payload that we pasted into the REST call. Hit execute. And as you can see, RDK shows me the response body, response headers, and the response code. So this was a successful API trigger. So if we go to the PagerDuty dashboard, we should have a new incident that matches the message that I sent. Here you see the details. So this works. So let's select this and resolve it. Great. Now let's look at how to map the input parameters to the body content. Let's scroll up a little bit. Here we have the body content, and here you see the list of the available input parameters that I created earlier. So to replace the service key here, I can simply drag this parameter here and insert it in. So at runtime, this parameter will be replaced by the actual value provided by the user. And do the same for the other parameters. Now what can I do with the output? By default, the RDK creates these out-of-the-box output parameters. And I still have the response body from our last test execution available. Let's see if there's some interesting information that we can use. There is a status message, a message, and then there's the incident key. Let's add these as output parameters and filter the response body using a simple JSON path expression. So status give it a description, and it's a JSON path from the response body, which would be this one. Next, the message. And this time we put message. And then lastly, and I'll name this differently, the generated incident key. Now, to change the order, I want to show these on top. I want to put the generated instant key on top, and then the status, and then the message. So I just use drag and drop to change the order of the output parameters. Then lastly, let's look at the results. In case of successful execution, the action will complete and provide this success message. In case of an unsuccessful execution, I want the action to fail and provide the message body as the error message. So to do this, I'll add an error condition and say if the response code does not equal 200, then provide the error message. And now I can choose from the available input as well as the available output parameters. So I just want to send back the response body in that case. At this time I'm basically done with the action, but I still need to generate the action pack, deploy that to release automation, and test it. Thank you for watching. In part 3 we'll wrap up by exporting the action pack and testing it in CA release automation.